guys, welcome back to a Project Life video. This is going to be week 6 part 1 and part 2 will be following here in the next couple of days. I'm basically taking my journaling strips like I have been for the past couple of weeks for 2017 and I'm just adding them to the top left card of my spread. This spread today is going to be a 12 by 12 spread on the left side and then a 6 by 12 spread on the right side. So you'll kind of see a few less pictures just because I didn't really have I didn't have enough space for all of my pictures on one 12 by 12, two 12 by 12 spreads. So, but I didn't have enough for two full 12 by 12 spreads. No, is that how that works? Sorry, 4 12 by 12 spreads. So I ended up using two 12 by 12s and then two 12 by 6s. Hopefully that makes sense. You'll be able to see in the close-up shots what they kind of look like here. So basically for this part 1, I'm just using the 12 by 12 and a 6 by 12. So this week I was in another state because I was on a business trip. So I have a lot of travel pictures and a lot of pictures of this little froggy. His name was Smitten and my daughter gave him to me before I left so he could keep me company. So I ended up taking lots of pictures all over North Carolina with him with me. So you're going to see a lot of pictures like that here. So here I'm going to show you a boo-boo. I am taking my little Copic marker here and then I'm trying to make a little gradient, and because of the ink I used, it bleeds really bad and it looks really terrible, and I don't think you can really tell too much on screen, but I'm going to try to fix it and it's going to be an epic fail. So you'll see here in a second that I'm going to take another label and then re-stamp it and then not color it in. So I did want to show you guys that you need to make sure that you are using a good ink when you're using the Copic markers, that it doesn't bleed. So you want to make sure you use like a Memento ink or something like that. This VersaFine ink obviously was not, it was soluble in the alcohol ink marker. So note to self, don't use that with Copic markers. So here I'm just going to take this other label. It's not exactly the shape and size that I want it to be, but it ends up working. So it's all good in the end. And you know, sometimes you make mistakes and you fix them and it's all good. You just keep moving on. So I'm using that stamp, it's Travel. I'm going to use a couple different stamps on this layout. They're all from Ali Edwards, I believe. I'll let you know if there's something that's not, but they're all old stamp sets from her Technique Tuesday releases. So here is me waiting for the plane to take off. Real exciting, great profile picture of me. And I'm just going to glue down these journaling strips. Again, I'm continuing to use the journaling strips throughout the layout in 2017. I really do like the look of this. There are a few times when I didn't have the journaling strips available, or I didn't type them out ahead of time and I was on crops and things, that I did not use the journaling strips and I used something a little bit different. But generally speaking, throughout the album right now, I am continuing to use these journaling strips. So here I'm just going to add a little bit of washi tape to the right hand corner. Sorry, it was a little off frame here, just to add some color, and I'm going to add a little puffy-ish kind of star. Again, these are from Studio Calico. I've had in my stash for forever. I haven't subscribed to Studio Calico for quite some time. So here, this looked a little plain, so I'm going to pull out another stamp that says Travel. Again, this is from the Ali Edwards stamp set. I'm just going to stamp it down in some VersaFine ink because I like the pop of black on this card. And then I'm going to cluster the little camera stamp and the little corduroy button. The corduroy button is an old Stampin' Up product that I've had for quite some time, just trying to use up my stash. Normally with buttons I do put some kind of twine or thread through them, but I was feeling really lazy today and I just kind of kept these without any twine, but I like how it looks still. So I'm just kind of clustering these up here, seeing how I like them, and I'm just going to glue those down with my dot runner adhesive. And I'm going to use a glue dot for the corduroy button just to make sure it stays. It's got this metal back and I didn't think that the little dot adhesive was going to work. So a little extra reinforcement for the button. And I really like how this layout turned out. I love the bright colors. I don't always use bright colors on my Project Life spreads, but I find that when I do, I enjoy them the most. I think they just pop and they just, you know, look really awesome. They make me smile because of the color. So I really like that. Like I said, I don't do that all the time just because I want to mix it up, but these are probably some of my favorite spreads because of the bright cheery color. Just kind of reminds me of sunshine and summertime, even though it definitely wasn't summer when we were in North Carolina this week. So here is just a picture of some food. It's some Mexican food that we got while we were out, and I'm just going to add a couple journaling strips just to kind of say where we were and what I had for dinner. I don't normally take a lot of food shots, but when I'm out of town, that's like the highlight of my day when I'm at a work trip. I take lots of food shots, it seems like, when I'm out of town. So here's my two puppy dogs just chilling on the couch looking all sweet and cute. And then I'm just going to add a little journaling strip, and then that stamped Lovely Day is from a stamped stamp set from Ellie Edwards again. It is an older or a newer stamp set. I think it's from one of her new collections that she has through Studio Calico. It was a friend of mine's stamp that I used, and I just stamped out a bunch of images and then cut them out and put them in my stash. Here I'm going to add this little journaling strip to the bottom of the 4x6 photo, and then I'm going to add a little cluster with the heart and the loving here, and I'm going to end up putting that kind of in the top middle right there. So you're going to see me gluing everything down here in a second. I'm just using my fine liner bottle, and my fine liner bottle is filled with Scotch tacky glue. So if you guys are looking for something that has this fine tip, you can get the fine liner bottles at Hobby Lobby or online, and it works perfectly for these little intricate bitty pieces. And I like the Scotch quick dry glue, or the Scotch tacky glue is what it's called now. And so that card is done. And then while I am kind of futzing around with the rest of the cards, I will kind of go over what I'm doing here in a second, but I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate all the comments and the likes and things that you've been giving me recently. So please, if you do like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would love to have you as a subscriber to my channel. Just hit that subscribe button in the bottom of your screen, and then you can get the latest and greatest from me from videos. I typically do mostly Project Life, but I also do some 12x12 scrapbooking as well. Actually, I enjoy that a lot. I do those at crops more, and then the Project Life I do a lot at home. So I just finished off that card, just adding some more of those hearts of the stars and some journaling strips. Here is just another card that I'm going to add a simple journaling strip, and I think I'm going to come back later and add a heart, or I may add it here. I don't quite remember. This is just at the little session we were at when I was out of town. Again, nothing too exciting, just a computer screen, but I wanted to make sure I captured what I was doing this week. Here is another food picture with that little stuffed animal named Smitten that I told you about. He's hanging out with me with lunch, and like I said, I was just sending her pictures throughout the day with me and Smitten because I thought that was just kind of a fun concept that I've seen people do before, and I just thought it was cute, and she really enjoyed getting the photos of him with me. So here is a card that I'm just going to keep really simple. I'm going to add this little butterfly chipboard piece and the stamped banner image, and then that one's going to be done. I am going to come back at the end of the video and put down a bunch of enamel dots all over the cards just to add a little extra texture and dimension. So you'll see that towards the end of the video. Here I'm going to add that heart. That's what I was telling about earlier. I didn't think I needed that date on there, and I just wanted to add a little bit of color because this card is kind of boring and a little bit of a dark photo. So I'm just adding this heart, and those hearts, how I made those is I took some washi tape and put it on white cardstock, and then I took my heart punch and punched a bunch of images out of it, and I thought that worked perfectly. They're great embellishments, and then you can do a bunch of them at one time and then keep them in your stash and use them as you go. Here is a text message from my daughter that I just took a photo of or a screenshot of, and I trimmed it out and I put a little picture of her from the text message as well, and then add some journaling. And then I found these little acrylic pieces that I think I got in an old Scraptastic kit, the little raindrops in a cloud, and my daughter was sad that I was out of town, so apparently she really missed me and I missed her too, so I thought this card with the little raindrops was a good embellishment to add to this card. So I'm just going to add another stamp, again from the Ellie Edwards travel stamp set, and it says memories, and then I'm going to end up gluing everything down on this card, and this one will be done. And I'm just using some liquid glue on the back of the acrylic pieces. If you put it all over the back of the pieces, then you really can't see the adhesive, so that's what I would recommend for the acrylic pieces that are small like this. Next, I'm going to work on this big pink card. I'm going to add another picture of Smitten. Him and me are getting ready to come home, and I had these little quotes. I had no idea what to do with them, but I liked the color and it matched the layout, so I just stuck them down, and I put a little journaling strips, and then I'm going to add another one of those little puffy star stickers from Studio Calico. And then I think I come back and do something else on this. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to do, if I want to add something else, and I think I do. Yep, I come back and I'm going to, I think, add a stamp, maybe. I guess we're going to find out together. I can't quite remember. Oh, nope, I lied. I'm just going to come in now and add the enamel dots. I think I looked at that card and decided that just wasn't going to fit in there very well. So now I'm just adding the final touches to the cards. I'm going to add these homemade enamel dots that I've had quite some time, and I made them out of the perler beads. So if you are interested in learning how to do that, there are several YouTube videos online that I looked up and I found the best way. And you basically take them and melt them in your oven down so they get down to this little dot. You just need to be careful that you use a very low temperature and have a long time. So that's my tip, is if you're going to make them, low temperature, long time in the oven, and then they make a better flatter dot and they don't burn. If they do burn a little bit, they do discolor, so you need to be careful. So I'm just adding those finishing touches in using that fine liner bottle and this little pickup stick that I had got with my silhouette, and that is a perfect use for that tool. I highly recommend getting one of these tools if you are putting down these kind of enamel dots, these little pieces. Sequins are also another time when I use this little tool, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's got a little sticky end, and then it's got this little pokey end to help you place all of your items. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to add the last few enamel dots here, and then you'll see some close-ups at the end. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them below, and thanks again for stopping by. Have a great day. Bye-bye, guys.